everybody. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Danielle Williams. I'm Director of Education at OrCids. We're really excited to have this event here today, and we're really grateful to our partnership with Johns Hopkins University and our classmates, really, with Dr. Brodsky and everyone who's here today. So thank you all so much for being here. And I also just want to acknowledge our OrCids, some of our key sponsors and donors who really make the program go and continue and thrive. Maren Alsop was the BSO music director, and she's our founder. And Robert Meyerhoff, Rita Becker, our longtime donors, foundational donors. And then we also have some sponsors that we want to acknowledge: the Shelter Foundation, the Angel Family Foundation, and the Charles T. Bauer Foundation, and BGE. So we're very grateful to all of them for allowing OrCids to exist and thrive.
Awesome. My name is Jocelyn Abrahamson. I am the Administrative and Communications Manager for OrCids. I just wanted to give a brief introduction of what OrCids is, although I think most of us know what it is. So if you don't, OrCids is a during and after school music program that provides Baltimore youth with equitable access to community-based, high-quality music instruction and programming that teaches musical and social skills transferable to all areas of their lives. And so I just also wanted to briefly provide some context to Tales from the Village. I'm sure you've all heard the quote, you know, it takes a village. And as you can imagine, for a program that we work out of 7 schools, we have a host site at Goucher College. We have over 1,800 students in the program this year. As I'm sure you can imagine, it certainly does take a village. And so today, we have some people here from part of that village to tell us some of their tales. And so Danielle briefly mentioned our partnership. So we're very grateful for this semester to be partnered with Johns Hopkins University in their Community Engaged in Learning course through the Center for Social Concern here at Johns Hopkins. And that is led by Dr. Anne Elizabeth Brodsky, and then also Miss Louisa, the Associate Director of the CSC, right? Awesome, yeah, thank you for being here. Great, so without further ado, Danielle.
Introduction. All right, so I get to introduce Dr. Brodsky, who we have gotten to know as Anne Elizabeth.
Yes.
So we're very grateful that she reached out to us and really led this partnership and initiative. She's the Associate Professor and Associate Director of the University Writing Program and has been leading this undergraduate community engaged writing course, which she titled Music, Young People, and Democracy. Thank you, Dr. Brodsky, for being here. I'm going to hand it over to you to tell us a little bit more about this course.
Thank you so much. I feel so grateful for this particular partnership and the people I get to meet today and other days. I'll also say that this class it's an example of the shift in undergraduate education at Hopkins, which I could not be happier about, which is to be much more focused on community engagement, and that effort is so beautifully led by Luisa de Guzman and her colleagues in the Center for Social Concern, but also to be more focused on the first year experience. And so this is the first year that Hopkins has had a first year seminar, a discussion-based class in the fall that's pass-fail, and that is by definition led by a faculty member, capped at 12 people, students, and interdisciplinary. So our first years get that experience in the fall, and then in the spring, they take first year writing, and the title is Reintroduction to Writing. So one of the things that we imagine doing in our classes is thinking about all the writing you do during the day as important and meaningful and valid, not just the academic paper that will be 6 to 8 pages long and have, at least 3, items in the bibliography, right? That's important too, but it's important for us to be able to think and write and talk about all the things that matter in our community, and here we are. So the ambitious subtitle of my class is Reintroduction to Writing, ambitious subtitle, Music, Young People, and Democracy. But it's been so interesting to put those 3 things in conversation with each other. So thank you for this opportunity.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Brodsky. So Dr. Brodsky is going to be one of our moderators for this conversation, helping to just ask our panelists some questions. The other moderator for this conversation is Ms. Samantha Flores. Samantha Flores is the program manager at our East Side Hub site. This is Highlandtown Elementary/Middle School number 215. Samantha is also a cellist and songwriter. She's originally from Mexico. And she will, in addition to moderating today, she will also be translating for our parent on the panel, Ms. Zoila Gomez.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you for having us today. With that, I'd like to introduce, go ahead and start doing introductions of our panelists today. I'd like to introduce Kiana Carrington. Kiana joined Orchids in second grade, went to Baltimore School of the Arts, became our student conductor, and first awardee of the Marian Alsop Student Award. Currently studying at Towson University and has come back to Orchids as a program support staff. Also, I'd like to introduce Rakira Bassett. Rakira is a current Orchid student of Eolist, 16 years old, and she is a leader in the string ensemble and has been in the program for 11 years.
Yeah.
And I get to introduce two more panelists. So here is Zoila Gomez, the mom of two harpists, Kelly and Catherine, who have been in the program 5 and 7 years respectively. And both of them recently received scholarships to go to summer music camp in Interlaken, Michigan. Congratulations. A beautiful place to be for 3 weeks and a beautiful place to play the harp, I must imagine. So congratulations to you for what your kids did. And also may I introduce Mr. Jared Perry, who's the band director, I don't want to get it wrong, I'm so sorry, at Booker T. Washington Middle School. And of course, an artist teacher with Orchids and founded the Orchids Brass Band, which I follow on the YouTube. Thank you for being here. So we have one question for everyone. And actually, can we just sit down? Yes.
Can we show the video?
Oh, I want to talk. No,
Thank you. We have a quick video to introduce each of our panelists in a musical way as well. They have not seen this yet.
Yeah, but you're allowed to.
You guys can go sit.
gosh, thank you guys. Well, that's beautiful, thank you. So we have some questions that are for all the panelists and some that are particular for each of you. The first one is for all of you, and we thought we'd start the conversation by thinking about, like, how did you come to be part of ORCIDS? Like, what's it like once you got here? So toward that end, I'd like to ask each of you, if you had to describe your experience in ORCIDS in just 3 words, what would those 3 words be? Okay, so give it some thought, and you can go in any order, and I'll be quiet for translation.
Vamos a hacer una pregunta, ahora sí que para todos, pero una de las preguntas que queremos hacer es primero que nos cuente su experiencia en ORCIDS, cómo fue que primero se involucró en ORCIDS y cuál ha sido su experiencia hasta ahorita. Y después, si gusta, describir ORCIDS, su experiencia en 3 palabras. ¿Y qué palabras serían? Sí.
3 words. Blessing, thrilling, and rewarding.
I would say knowledgeable, empowering, and transforming.
I would say enjoyable, exciting, and
yo diría es crecimiento personal, académico y una visión muy abierta.
Ricky, before I answer, do you want to finish like the last word you want to share?
oh, I was gonna say fun.
Yeah. So Zoila said, personal growth, personal academic growth, and having a very open vision.
Do you mind asking Julie?
Sure. And now with continuing with Zoila, so nos puede decir, por ejemplo, nos puedes contar sobre sus niñas, cómo son, qué les gusta hacer y dentro y fuera de ORCIDS?
Do you want to tell them?
Yeah, sure. So I would just ask the question, like, tell us about your kids, your children, how are they like? What do they like to do in and out of ORCIDS?
Primeramente, gracias por invitarme a este panel y puedo decir que Kelly y Catherine no ha sido fácil introducirlos dentro del programa de ORCIDS. Primeramente porque nuestros niños o mis niñas están más inclinadas a hacer lo fácil y lo que les gusta. Y lo fácil es tener todo el tiempo la tecnología en las manos. Pero con mi carácter, con mi fuerza, he podido yo como obligarlos a permanecer dentro del programa, porque mi pensamiento es, y yo no sé si es un pensamiento equivocado, decirlos, los niños no están para hacer lo que ellos quieren o lo que ellos les gusta, porque son niños que están creciendo y están aprendiendo. Entonces, los papás deciden qué es bueno para los niños. Somos los papás que decimos, mira, eso está bien para ti porque esto te va a servir para el mañana.
So like, first of all, she's like thanking you, saying, well, thank you for having me as a panelist today. She describes it as it's hard to, it's been challenging to, have Kelly, Catherine in the program because our kids, all kids now are so used to having, doing easy things and everything that feels easy to them. Also, it's harder with technology, having technology so accessible and having that in their hands all the time, right? So she's like, with my this is how, she thinks, right? She's just like, this is the way, according to her, she's like, this is how I think, and maybe it's wrong, but I believe that, I'm the parent, and I with my character and my decision, I want them to for them to stay in a program, right? I mean, I don't think the children are in a position to do what they like. I think, parents make that decision for them. So my decision for them is to stay and remain in a program like Orchids.
Y la segunda, esto fue la parte difícil para mí, pero ahora en la parte que me satisface y me lleno de emoción al ver también a Kelly arriba, es que finalmente ellos tienen esa visión, ese programa que es para mi futuro, me ayuda a mí. Yo sinceramente me siento emocionada porque lo que al inicio obligué, hoy es algo espontáneo de ellas.
So she's saying that the first thought was, the challenging part. Now, the satisfaction part of this experience is like, she sees Kelly up there in the video, right? Is that now at the beginning was something that she had to impose on them and make them do at the beginning. But now it has become something spontaneous, something that they're asking for it, something that is coming from them. And that gives me a lot of satisfaction. It helps me as a parent to hear that and experience that.
Y la tercera parte es que desde este año ya no les pongo la obligación que tienen que hacer su media hora. Ellas solitas se sientan, practican, es a las 8 horas de dormir. Ellas dicen, no, me voy a quedar hasta las 10 porque tengo que repasar. Ellas solitas buscan ahora. Esa es mi satisfacción más grande, de finalmente yo sentarme en calma y decir, ay, finalmente ellas buscan solas.
And I mean, to the previous point, she said, I mean, this is something that now has become part of your vision, right? And she's like, and the third part of this is that now, by themselves, they seek that practice time. That before they even go to bed, they they like to sit down and practice before they go to bed. And so she's saying, now that gives me the calm and the satisfaction that I no longer have to push that they are seeking it themselves. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Soya. That's very insightful. Thank you. Really important. I just, just like to, wrap it up with this. I mean, because it sounds like, you've been, usted ha estado, I'm just going to say this in Spanish first and then in English to everybody. O sea, esto ayuda bastante, ¿no? Pero, por ejemplo, usted habla de empujar a sus niñas, o sea, ¿cómo fue de que usted quiso registrar a sus niñas en Orchids si no sabía, si no había tenido esa experiencia or I'm just asking if what, she's asking why, it's been very challenging. She's been pushing this on, on her kids now. So why did she decide to enroll them in Orchids, right? I mean, they didn't have this experience before. So, I mean, what led you to do that?
La respuesta es un poquito vergonzosa, pero voy a ser honesta.
She says the answer is a little embarrassing, but she'll be honest.
Esto fue no sé si un trauma de que yo quería aprender música cuando era pequeña, pero como veníamos de familias de escasos recursos o pobres, no teníamos la posibilidad de comprar instrumento, de ir a una clase, y creo que yo crecí con ese trauma que si yo no podía ser mis hijas. Pero gracias a los programas de las escuelas, de las instituciones, y sobre todo el programa de Orchids, me ayudó a ver que no es lo que yo no pude hacer ellas, sino más bien motivar que ellas como se llenen de todo lo que ofrece para que un mañana puedan realizarse. Y yo me involucré porque tenía interés en la música y sobre todo por las convivencias entre papás, reuniones de papás, que se practica, aquí hay este curso, aquí hay esto, aquí. Entonces me interesé en esto y de esa forma fue que yo llegué a Orchids.
Mm-hmm. So she's saying, you know, like maybe this is, you know, a little embarrassing because maybe this is coming from a place of my own personal trauma. She said that she's always been interested in music, but, you know, and maybe like, you know, it's growing up, she's like, I was hoping that maybe I didn't get to learn music, but I was hoping my daughters would. Especially, you know, it was hard as, you know, for her growing up in a very impoverished, you know, with financial challenges, and it was hard to purchase, you know, musical instruments or learn music or enroll in classes. So she'd hope that, you know, for her daughters to learn, you know, music and have that experience. And so she, you know, she feels very grateful for institutions and like programs and schools having music curriculums, you know, so they can be exposed to that kind of stuff. And so they can feel fulfilled and, you know, and have that beautiful experience. And so through some parent-teacher association meetings at some point with school, that's how she heard about the program, that's how she decided to enroll her daughters. Thank you.
Y última cosa, yo llegué a Orchids con el miedo que me iban a decir no, porque mis hijas no pertenecían a la escuela donde estaba Orchids. Pero yo no sé a quién yo recé y quién me escuchó, que me dieron la oportunidad. Y desde ahí no pierdo. Todas las oportunidades que me dan, ahí estoy siempre para que no pierda ni un solo.
So she's saying, she's like, actually I came into Orchids with that fear of like, they're probably gonna, you know, say no. Because her daughters are not current enrolled students at Highlandtown 215, they go to another school. But they, you know, attend the program at Highlandtown, so she's like, I don't know. She's like, I prayed, I was, you know, hoping for the best so they can keep it, and they accepted my children. So now every time they ask me for an opportunity, I'm there. So I wouldn't miss, you know, so they wouldn't miss anything, and you know, just I'm present as much as possible.
Mr. Perry, may I ask you, I'm curious how you came to Orchids and how it affects your role as a band director, your Orchids role, how they fit together, and what it's like for you.
That's why I started with Blessing. God ordained. He couldn't have put it together. It was my first year teaching, and
Can you use the mic?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm an old lady.
I came into Baltimore City Public Schools in 2013, and I really inherited the Orchids program from a previous decision. So when I came in, they said this program's going to come in, not in the first half, but in the second half of the school year. And I said, okay, I don't know, but cool. So I got the experience of a first-year teacher with no support, like Orchids, and then the spring semester Orchids. So I have the night and day of everything, right? And I tell people this all the time. Teaching band in middle school in any place is like teaching math, science, ELA, history at the same time. You have to know about each instrument. You have to know about how to perform the embouchure for each instrument. And me coming in, I was terrified because I didn't know. And so you get certified in Maryland to teach K-12, band, orchestra, and choir, general music. But the reality is you had one strong suit, and mine was band, obviously. So when I came in, it was an awesome experience because I had to really find out on my own how to do this. And then when they came in the spring, it was phenomenal. I have not just teachers, but these are seasoned musicians who are explaining to me different things that you kind of have to really research on your own, but they were able to give me these things much quicker. It was just a complete blessing, really. And it ties in 100% because Orchids, Baltimore City Orchestra, band, music, all of it's tied together so wonderfully over the years, and so it's just been a blessing. It came to me.
Thank you. Rukira, can I ask you questions next? I'm curious about like why you decided to be in Orchids, if you decided, and not a family member like we've heard about, right? But also, like, what are important moments you've had in Orchids so far, and what's been challenging for you?
Well, I've been in Orchids like my whole life, so like as long as I can remember, Orchids just been a part of me. So I mean, even though it wasn't really my choice, because my parents kind of decided for me, I'm really grateful that they did do that, because I wouldn't have gotten all these opportunities like Peabody and summer camps like Yola National and Interlochen and stuff like that. So I'm grateful for that. And a challenge that I faced is like trying to be more out there. Like Work Kids has helped me be more out of my shell. Like I'm trying to not be just like to myself really. I just want to like word it, but and what was like
Special moment.
a special moment? I would say the creative compositions that we do, we have a lot of fun with those. And sometimes you would think, how did they come up with that? Like that makes no sense. But then when it's all together, it's like, oh my gosh, that sounds so good. So I'm kind of grateful, even though sometimes I'm not really a fan, because I feel like the brass and winds kind of take over, you know? Like, they always decide what we're gonna do. So sometimes I'm like, I don't know, but they always find a way to put us in it. So yeah.
I'd like to pivot to Kiana for a second. I mean, like we heard from Rakira as a current student. At some point, you were a student in Kiana. So what are your earliest moments, memories of Work Kids, and how do those memories have impacted you and your family?
Okay, so I remember like the Orchids program originally coming to my school, elementary school. I'm from Lundy Elementary School, and they came with a whole bunch of instruments and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's very cool. And I thought I was gonna be a violin player, so that's the instrument I chose. And my parents didn't really force me to come in. I chose to come in, and they kind of were like, okay, yeah, cool. So I chose violin, stuck on it for like 3 days, and then switched to clarinet. And I was playing clarinet ever since. And then some memories just in the orchestra program would be like traveling, and also the collective compositions. They were things that were just like, we came up like as students, we expressed like from our own feelings and like what we felt and like different societal problems going on like during that time. And they always like were very different, like voting, segregation, some other ones, just like fun ones, like little kids would get involved. So sometimes it'd be like pizza, garbage, you know. So yeah.
So, but memories. I mean, you were the first conductor at Work Kids. How was that like?
Conducting, I was really like, I don't know about this, but I always like say yes, because I feel like the teachers there do so much for us, and we should be willing to like make a sacrifice and get out of our comfort zone. So I really had to get out of my comfort zone with that. And conducting was like, you're on stage, you're a center, but also it's a whole bunch of musicians around, and you really have to make them feel welcome and make them feel like they're a part and make them feel like they sound good. And no matter, you can't really express your like, like Mr. Eli, like one of my teachers, he would express his feelings like, y'all sound a mess. But I feel like that helps too, but for me, it was just more gentleness, like, and then they really came along when I conducted the piece, it really came along. It was just gentleness, and it was just, and this man, y'all helped me. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, so, yeah. It was really cool though.
No, I mean, yeah, that's amazing. And I mean, you worked with Miss Danielle, with a lot of people. Also, at some point, you got coaches with Marin Alsop, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I got coaching with Marin Alsop. That was, interesting, because I felt like the other people were, they volunteered me for this. Like, I was like, I don't know about this. But it got me out of my comfort zone. She, was really nice, really patient. And I was like, okay. And I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for doing it. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we like to pivot into something else. We'll circle back to Zoila. ¿Por qué recomienda a otros padres de familia de tener a sus hijos en Orchids? ¿O por qué les recomendaría? So the question is, why do you recommend to other parents to sign up their kids and their students at Orchids?
Yo recomiendo a los papás que el programa de Orchids no es una opción de after school, es un programa de refuerzo personal, es un programa de refuerzo a su talento y es un programa que les ayuda a crear su propio carácter, porque yo he visto esto en mis hijas, ellas son ellas mismas, ellas son seguras de sus pensamientos, son seguras de sus actitudes, de sus actividades. Entonces, nada, yo les recomiendo a los papás que aprovechen de esta oportunidad que la institución les da.
She's sharing that, I recommend parents, she's like, Orchids is not any after-school program, right? This is a space where our kids can develop, and reinforce personal growth, character, most importantly, because she says, I've seen this in my own children, right? They're very confident of themselves now, they express themselves, and I've seen that, I've seen that with my own children. I highly encourage parents to sign up their kids for Orchids and take advantage of those resources that exist, so they can, their own kids can have that experience. And Zoila, ¿qué oportunidades han tenido sus hijas por medio de Orchids? What musical opportunities have your children had through Orchids?
La oportunidad más grande que ellas han tenido ha sido el año anterior que Kelly pudo participar en Interlockets. Ha sido una experiencia para nosotros como primera vez dejar salir de nuestra casa a nuestra hija en manos de otras personas que ni siquiera nosotros conocemos. Eso ha sido duro para mí sobre todo, pero ha valido la pena porque Kelly ha venido bien fuerte, bien segura, bien con carácter. Y yo digo, oh my God, ya se engordó.
She said, well, my first big musical experience of my kids has been like last year. Kelly, the oldest daughter, I had the opportunity to attend Interlochen for the Arts in Michigan with the full ride. And so she said that it was it was a big change for us and for her because for us, first of all, because we had to let her go to a space with people that we've never ever met, and have that trust, setting her with that trust of, for the first time being away from us for a summer, right? But also it was very rewarding to see when she came back, coming back very strong and confident and grounded and so when she came back from the camp, she was saying, oh wow, she even gained weight because, but yeah, that's she said that's for me one of the best experiences that she had. Something that I like to add to that and Zoila is that last year we tried to convince her and convince also Kelly to listen, this is a great opportunity for you, you should attend. Kelly got a full ride, and I know that everybody was like, oh, a little hesitant, should we do this? And then when they finally did, even Kelly said, I don't want to quote her, but she was like, thank you for, really doing this and making me do this because I didn't realize how much I was missing. Yeah, anything else alguna otra cosa que quiera compartir, alguna otra experiencia?
Esto fue la primera experiencia, como el primer fruto que nosotros los papás, porque la satisfacción después de esto somos los papás, como vemos que nuestros hijos crecen y se desarrollan. La siguiente experiencia fue el poder participar con Baltimore Orchids, y la experiencia de que ella hoy en día está siendo parte de Peabody. Ella es, y a ella le encanta porque, bueno, la experiencia es que a Kelly le encanta de ver chicos jóvenes que están ya como haciendo voluntariado, ayudando a otros. Es una experiencia para ella que ella ve que es posible y también para nosotros porque vemos el interés que ella tiene. No, pero ella está joven, mira y hace esto, va de aquí, va de allá. Y para nosotros es una satisfacción muy grande ver esto en Kelly.
So she's sharing that, this is the first big musical experience, but in that, from that stem all a bunch of other things. But also another musical experience has been for her being part of the Peabody Tune-In program. And with that, being exposed to other young people who are also very independent, who are looking for other opportunities, who are doing volunteering, who are active in their community. So hearing that Kelly Navas is getting inspiration from those people as well, and young people her age or even younger, it's like for her it's a big satisfaction.
Y la última que hasta ahora estoy casi ya diciendo no hagas más, porque antes decía tienes que hacer, ahora casi digo no hagas más. Ella mira los voluntariados que hay en los programas y ella va, bueno, sabemos que va a la escuela de lunes a viernes y cuando hay los días festivos, los días que no tienen clase, ella no queda en casa a dormir. Ella se levanta a las 8 y se va a hacer voluntariado hasta la 1:30. Y yo ya quiero decirle, no, ya descansa hoy. Y no, debo ir a hacer voluntariado. No, yo estoy en la página. Los sábados no puede hacer voluntariado porque va a Orchids. El domingo se pone a preparar pancitos para ir a dar a los homeless. O sea, no importa, es voluntariado. O sea, ella quiere todo el tiempo estar trabajando. Y eso es, ahora tengo casi para decirle, no, los domingos yo no puedo. Pero digo, si yo motivé tanto, ahora que le quiero volver a decir no.
So she said at the beginning it was very, I just wanted her to do all these things and, and obviously, they pushed back, but now she's getting involved in all these volunteering opportunities and now she's looking for, basically signing up for every volunteering opportunity that she sees. And now she's like, I'm to the point where I have to tell her, no, please don't do more. And so now every time she's like, I'm gonna, on Saturday she goes to Peabody and then on Sundays, you might find her at 8 a.m. making some pastries for homeless people. She's like, now she's so involved and volunteering, so interested in now very independent woman that she's like, I almost have to tell her I'm not available on Sundays. Please do not count on me. So she's satisfied to see that independence in her children. Thank you, Zoila. Gracias.
No. Lo que quiero decir es, los días de no escuela, ella va a hacer su voluntariado. Eso es lo más que a mí me, como que digo, no, quédate en la cama, quédate a dormir. No, ella tiene que hacer voluntariado, o sea, no tiene descanso. Desde que empezó la escuela no tiene descanso.
So on non-school days, she does the volunteering. But on non-school days, she's like, no, I'm gonna go do volunteering. She's like, please come on, sleep in, please. And she's like, nope, I'm gonna be outside at the door doing volunteer work. Yeah, thank you.
So for Mr. Perry, just thinking about that, the way that music is now a part of Kelly and Catherine's lives, but also other, beyond that, the kind of the way it's activated their independence and so on. I'm curious if you could talk about how you see Orchids having an effect on your students in your school. And their families, sorry.
And their families. It's clear as day, the students that have been a part of Orchids and their growth, their academic achievement, things of that nature. I'll never forget a student I had, a trombone player. He was not doing well in a class and he wasn't great with speaking up for himself. Phenomenal trombone player. And I told my students, listen, I need y'all not failing classes. No, this is not sports and you need to have a minimum GPA, but let's get this together. I speak to the teacher and she says he's got a D in something. So he's after school and I'm like, okay, check this out. You got this trombone thing for this song down. Let's talk about this. What do we need to do? And he came to tears and he was just like, I don't get it and I don't know what to do. And these are the opportunities that are afforded with this after-school program. Then you see him, I want to say 2 months later, Mr. Perry passing with a B. And so you see, I was showing him, and as well as Ms. Kay and some others, just like you did this practicing with your trombone, this is how it translates to science, ELA, social studies. So now going over this same thing over and over, now you'll be able to do better. And so he was building confidence. Parents obviously were seeing it, and just the number of parents throughout the year, Mr. Perry, they don't do anything but talk about your class. I need you to help them with math if they don't come to you all the time. And so we see that in the program. We see the students, I'm proud to say, 2 years in a row, we had salutatorian and valedictorian at our school, by our kids. And so you can see, you see the growth in the students. You see the students that want to be there, and you see, most importantly, behaviors change over the years. I was just watching a video with my wife from years before, and I'm talking about there was this 6th grader running around the halls, not where he's supposed to be, fussing, da-da-da-da-da. The last year he had seen performances, he had seen students, and he said, Mr. Perry, I want to be in the band. And this young man played the tuba for me, and he did wonderful. So I was blessed to have them in school and after school. So during the day, he's working with me and another Brath teacher, and we made it all the way to the Baltimore City Band Festival, and that was the first year we received the superior rating prior to any other year. And so it was just a phenomenal experience for him, for me as his teacher, because I believe that wholeheartedly. When a teacher's teaching, 2 people are learning. The student's learning, and the teacher's learning. Should be learning, reflecting and getting feedback. And so it's just been a phenomenal experience from that way, and how we've impacted families and how I've been impacted.
Sure. Rakira. How are you feeling, Rakira? Good? Okay.
Use the mic.
So would you, with your experience, would you recommend learning music to other people, to other young people?
Yes.
And why?
Because music is a way that you can express yourself. Like, I feel like music becomes a part of you. And when you play your music, people can like see you in the music, basically. And it keeps you doing something instead of like just staying on your phone after school. You're actually doing something productive, and it's just fun.
I mean, you can still use your phone for, musical,
Yeah,
productivity,
yeah.
right? I mean, record yourself, record some videos, I mean, that's great. I mean, like, is this something that, I don't know, like, maybe, can you share with us, like, what's the Orchids program like to other people? I mean, like, with your, with the music learning experience, I mean, can you describe it a little bit?
Well, with the music learning experience, you make friends, and it's like a family. That's the word. It's a family, and you try not to be like by yourself, basically. Am I making sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I'm trying to
100%.
When come back to me.
Yeah, no, you're doing amazing. I mean, like, it is a family. Like, do you feel that you've built families, because you've been to Yola, you've been to Interlochen, you go to Peabody, you're in Orchids. Do you feel like you've built different families in each place, or, the musical world is very small? Do you feel like we're all a big musical family, or like, how do you see that?
I feel like I've become more closer to people that play instruments similar to mine. So every time I meet a new violist, we're like immediately like friends, because it's not many of us. So I try to make a lot of violist friends and violinists. Like, we're still close, but there are some violinists that,
Very nice of her.
act like they're better or whatever. But we're all in this together, so I try not to divide it too much.
Cool. Great, Thank you, Rakira.
Yeah, we're curious for you to build on that, of course, and like now you're at Towson, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your interests there and how for you this like an impressive resume of music making in Baltimore City schools in various ways, how it translates to what you're doing now and what you hope for.
Okay, so at Towson, I studied Family and Human Services, a minor in music performance. Right now, like, I chose Family and Human Services because I actually switched from forensics chemistry, and I chose Family and Human Services because that really resonated with me the most with music and like also community and developmental work and making impacts within like the community and also with other people and caring about their social problems. So with that, I've still been doing a lot of music classes and stuff, and even in like my regular like family studies classes, like I took an African American family studies class, and I was able to like write about music and write about the social injustice within music. And then also I took a Leonard Bernstein class, and I was able to like really like use and expound my skills that I learned in like orchids and like within orchids and like just like Peabody and stuff. And I was able to like write a paper, you know, interview with Ryan Allsap. Like I just called her out and I was like, can you just like help me with this project? And I was like, if I'm gonna do this project, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So yeah, just like using those skills. And I always like think outside I always do extra, like because like I really value academic work, but then like with academic work, I also value like the true and sincerity of it. So I want to do it like truthfully, and really want people to like go away with something. So, and also I hope like with the Family and Human Services thing to like open up my own clinic. I want to become a family lawyer first and a social worker.
Wow, yes, all right.
And then also open up my own clinic, and I plan to like have a music program actually in it, and like therapy and clinical sessions. Yeah, that's what I plan to do.
Wow.
We have one question for everyone, and then you may have questions as well, and they can be as broad or specific as you'd like them to be, and you will get a chance, I promise. But the one question we have for each of you is, when you think about the future of Orchids, we're celebrating 15 years. It's amazing, right? It's more than the school years, right? It's more than 12 grades, right? It's very exciting. At this moment of celebration, when you think about the future of Orchids, what's one thing that stands out in your vision of what it can be for the little ones now coming up, and for the ones graduating from high school soon, like Rakira, right? Not too far away. But what's your vision for the future of Orchids? And we can go in any order you would like. Okay. But hold on for the translation. Pause, please.
La última pregunta que es para todos es ¿cuál es su visión o lo que usted espera para el programa de Orchids? O sea, este año cumplimos 15 años, es nuestro 15º aniversario, que eso significa que es más que todos los grados escolares, ¿no? Entonces, ¿cuáles son sus esperanzas o su visión para nuestro programa? Any wish is good.
Well, for me, I envision like more younger people, like especially in Baltimore City, like you just hear so much stuff about crime and just like kids dropping out and teachers not caring and like them just getting passed through. But then you also have teachers like Mr. Perry who cares and pulls the kids to the side and really want to like see kids grow and envision them to do better in life and push them to do better in life. And I feel like that's something that the Orchids program will always like have, especially like going to different schools. I envision them like just probably being in every school in Baltimore City public schools. And I just envision like the definition of music not to be so strict anymore. Like I feel like Orchids, they have they know, like, they just don't hold the classic components of like what music is. Like when I was like in the program, I thought I was gonna be just classical music, but now I'm just like at Towson, I'm like, oh no. I'm in the marching band, I'm like, we need Mr. Perry, because I'm not planning that. But that's like, it just like, it goes to add on, like, we really need like, the program will really like have people coming out of it pursuing music and changing the definition of what music was said to be by like these European composers and stuff.
Yeah.
Kiana for president, everybody.
I see in the future for Orchids a continuation of developing teachers. And that's been one of the best things about Orchids for me. Helping teachers help students. As I'm a Baltimore City public school teacher, I'm also a mentor in the district this year. I've been a mentor in the district for the last 3-4 years. And I just keep saying it, if we can develop better teachers, the students are automatically better. And so that's one thing that for sure I've seen. They host a number of PDs for teachers, they host things, and sometimes the veteran teachers are like, oh man, we gotta go again, but then it's like, wait a minute, no. Our experience adds to the PD. And so as I speak for the vision of Orchids, I see them developing teachers to be awesome in the classroom. Mind you, Orchids, they don't necessarily have certified teachers. They have musicians that have to learn how to become teachers and do these things, because sometimes they say those who can't teach, no, that's not true. Let's get rid of that. But then at the same time, those that can play sometimes can't teach, you know? And so let's marriage them so that phenomenal performers can also be phenomenal teachers. And I see that being something that Orchids has helped so many different adults do throughout the years, myself included. My first year, as I said, I was a new teacher, so it wasn't that I had all these years of experience. I clearly had experience working with kids, working with music, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. But when it came to this formal setting, they brought something to me that allowed me to assist my students better. I'll never forget it, Miss Rachel Zephyr, she was the brass teacher working with me at that time. I had Mr. Alston, and I was getting ready for the adjudication. And I was staring at the score, conducting the students. And she comes by and rips the score away, and she says, go, be, do. And I was just like, okay. And then I could just see, I knew the score. I could see, okay, and I'm cueing. So it's like, yes, you have your score and all these different pieces, right? And it came from veteran teachers in Orchids, veteran teachers that could show younger teachers, trust yourself, right? So I'm coming from that perspective, because for the students, they're gonna be blessed when you have the right teachers in there. As Kiana so wonderfully gave me a compliment, I love that. I love that, and I feed off of that. The students can remember, oh yeah, this experience, I remember that brass band, oh, that collective composition. We had a fun time, and Mr. Perry, he gave me that floor to speak in, giving kids a voice. So my vision is to continue to build phenomenal teachers that will care about the student, not just the music. That's what I see in the future for Orchids.
I was thinking so hard. The future of Orchids, for the future of Orchids, I want to see just more students in general, because over the years, Orchids used to be like really packed, and like a lot of students there during like doing after school homework and stuff, and now it's like, it's kind of smaller. I feel like, I don't know if I'm the only person that knows this, but a lot of people left, and I feel like if Orchids is more widespread, there'll be more students. And also, I think that we should try to get Orchids in the county, because I've noticed that at my school at least, it's not, they don't really have a lot of programs like Orchids there. It's like we do things after school, but it's just not Orchids. So I've been trying to go around and tell people, oh my gosh, you should join Orchids. And they're like, okay, but then they're like, oh, I don't know if I can go to the city every day. So yeah, I'm glad that I can still do that. So yeah.
And I speak just real quick?
Yeah.
We're all still feeling the effects of the pandemic. And that's been a huge piece because yes, that 10-year anniversary was phenomenal. And then shortly thereafter, pandemic hits. And what you're feeling is that right there. Just everyone trying to get back to normal, but the reality is there is no getting back. It's completely different. So students are different. We're all figuring out this thing now and trying to get students there, but I agree. More students, absolutely. So be encouraged. Just because you're in that position where you know what was. It's like, let's get back there, but just be patient. Just be patient.
Maybe to Kiana's point, maybe we'll have more schools, more students, we'll need more teachers for Kira, so. Just saying.
Yo tengo una visión un poco, no sé, como absurda, pero como soy una mamá que estoy fuera de la educación, o sea, no conozco muy bien cómo trabajan las escuelas, porque, o sea, no estoy en el rol, ¿no? Pero desde mi punto de vista, desde afuera, a mí me gustaría ver en el futuro como esta audición que esté lleno de gente, personas que estén interesadas en el programa.
So she's sharing, she's like, I have a vision of maybe a little bit absurd, and she's like, I don't know how education works because I'm a mother and I'm not really aware how the system works and how, how schools and all that, but she said, I'd like to see, for instance, like an audience, a packed audience, people that are interested in a program like this. I like to see more people.
Y solo otro que yo veo y que veo que en el futuro el programa de Orchids no sea un programa de after school, sino sea un programa, y a donde pueden haber la posibilidad que los niños de otros lugares también puedan asistir al programa. Es verdad que los niños en Orchid de los que están dentro de las escuelas hay la prioridad, pero me gustaría ver en un futuro que otros chicos que realmente les interese la música también puedan asistir. Y lo otro también, me gustaría que también haya como un ladito para los papás que les gustaría hacer algún instrumento musical, como que sean parte de este programa.
Ideal, honestly. So she's like, well, I mean, the other part of it is like, I like for Orchids to become a program, not just an after school program, a program where all the students, like anybody who is interested in free musical education have access to it. Because she's like, well, I'm aware that students that live or attend city schools have priority. But I like for anyone who lives in the county or anywhere can just be part of the program and attend. Also a space for parents to also learn musical instruments. That's something that would be really awesome. So that's why I said it would be ideal. That's the dream. Hopefully, we're talking about the children now, and hopefully then the parents as well.
Can I add one more thing that you brought to my mind when you said come back and teach? Orchids is already doing that, and I've completely just absent-minded. 2 students come out, Kamani and Naija. They were students that went through Booker T, went to BSA, graduated. Kamani's about to graduate this year, and they came back and they helped out the program. Right now, Kamani's he's the drummer for us with the brass band, and Naija, she was a drummer, xylophone, there we go. Now it's a xylophone. And she came back and she helped with the kids, and now the students are coming back, my 6th, 7th graders. Hi, Miss Naija. She's a teacher. And she volunteered first, but then an opportunity opened up. And that's what Orchids has also provided for former students and even older current students, opportunities to be student teachers. So Kamani, now he gets the title. Mr. Kamani now has auditioned and applied for a position, and now he's in that work of being evaluated to see, hey, maybe this can work out for him as well. So that's something else that Work Kids has provided for the students, just another opportunity to go into the professional realm. And the expectations are not small. Lesson planning, getting your things together, all these different pieces. So it's a phenomenal opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Yeah, Gert, go ahead.
Yeah. To add to that, the student worker opportunity, I'm really grateful for that because it's helping me prepare for just the future and trying to be a music teacher and stuff. So I'm grateful for that. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, we would love to hear your questions. I'm gonna bring the mic to you, okay?
That's totally up to you.
Hi, my name is Morel Megan Conchu. I'm in Dr. Roski's class. One thing, the band community is so small because I had Miss Zephyr.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Where you went to
I went to Eleanor Roosevelt High School.
Got you.
Yeah, so I had her, so she's close to our middle school band teacher, Miss Fung, and she came to conduct one of our pieces. And then when I went to Rose, I kind of left band. But my question is just like, how do you still have the passion for music? Like now when I'm volunteering with the kids, I sit in the brass class with Mr. Daniels because I play trumpet and Mr. Baritone. And I'm like, oh, I remember the fingerings, I know how to play it, but it's like, I want to, but then I like lost the passion. But so as a musician, how do you continue to have that passion? Because like I know when you start to get older, you have other interests. Like I left band to continue French, so it was like how do you balance music but then your other interests in life?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first, I forgive you for leaving trumpet and going to baritone. For me, it's the calling of it. I didn't choose to be a teacher. I ran from teaching. Music, however, was always there. I was always nervous about hurting kids. Like, I don't want to mess a kid up in the classroom and not teach right. And my big thing was, what do I have to offer? Insecurities that I had to get over, right? And so I knew that if I continued with music, I didn't want to do the normal thing, you know? And so that's why I said it was just a wonderfully ordained opportunity. God bless, oh my goodness. Work Kids provided me an opportunity to be creative. And so for me, starting the brass band was a continuation of the creative composition, collective composition. I was like, we can do this in the school. Like, you don't have to just get a piece of music and learn that. We can do something from scratch. So I'm in my field doing some things that I really enjoy doing at home. So there's a mirror. And so if I create music on my own and do different things, and now I can come back and teach the kids and do some different things, yeah, there's some growing pains. Yeah, you gotta get over the behavior, you gotta learn classroom management. But when you get there, when you start to allow the kids to create, oh, Mr. Barry, how does this sound? Oh my gosh, it's in the song, let's go. And you see their light bulb click, you see their enthusiasm grow. That's where for me it's, I can get paid to do this, are you serious? Oh yes, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be. So keeping that enthusiasm, it comes from who I am, you know? And so, don't get me wrong, it's not always easy. I can't make it all sunshine and roses because there's certain things that you just have to overcome. You have to understand some days are not gonna be that great. You gotta understand some performances are not gonna go as you want. And so when you can understand every opportunity is a learning experience, it's gonna help you. So you said you left music to go to French?
Yeah.
Now that was a little challenging, but you know, you'll find ways to keep that passion there, even if it's just volunteering somewhere here. Are you a French major or? So with that, you're studying French. There might be some vocal music. There might be some other pieces. Like that's again the part of the creative composition, collective composition. We can literally do anything with music. My big thing is let's just make sure it's positive. So for me, I don't allow certain things in my classroom. I tell the kids all the time, yeah, bring the music to me. If it has cursing or some inappropriate lyrics and such, we're probably not going to do it. Because Dr. Navitros in my school, in my college days remembering studying, good music produces good character. Bad music produces bad character. That stuck with me like all day long. So all of these things played into my enthusiasm for music, my enthusiasm as I'm working, and so hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, and Keon, I'm just wondering if you want to add to that, because I'm thinking about how you're not pursuing a clarinet performance major or a music ed major, and I just, if I may tuck in before you answer, the thing that's been hard for me to learn is that I might not be able to do all the things I love all in the same season or in the same semester, but they wait for you. And you feel so scared, like I haven't played the violin for like 8-9 months. And I'm terrified to pick it up, but when I do, it's gonna be right there, you know? I mean, it'll, a couple days, but then it'll feel like again, and it does, like it'll be there. Sometimes at the moment, you know, all of my students are first year students at a school that is alien to all of us in different ways. And so the things they've learned this year, not counting the academic stuff, is extraordinary. You know, I know that happens first year any school. So, and now I'll let you talk, sorry.
So when I first went to Towson, I tried to do too much, and I took on 19 credits.
Wow.
Yeah, 19 or 18. And I was just tired, because I was running back and forth between music classes, music theory, math, science, not science, but, you know, just different classes, and I just felt so exhausted. And I was like, oh no, I can't, like, it was no balance in like college life, and I really didn't like make that many friends because I felt like I was always in like rehearsal to like 6 to 9, and it was just lessons, then I would practice, and then like I felt like I wasn't practicing enough like how I practiced at BSA, and I kind of felt like I was declining as a clarinet player, and I didn't really want to play it anymore. And then sophomore year, that second semester, spring semester, I kind of like took a step back, not like from it, but it was more easier because I didn't like put such a load on myself. And then like this semester that I'm in right now, I kind of like had to take a step back because I'm in a music class, but I just took a step back from like playing clarinet for this semester because that's all I knew how to do, like all I knew how to do. Like my whole resume was music. So I was like, I need to figure out who Kiana is, like other than like playing clarinet, because I didn't know who she was, because I just was a clarinet player. That's all I knew. So I took a step back, and I feel more free and I feel more happy. Like, not saying I won't pick the clarinet back up because I still have to complete these credits, but I just needed needed some time away from it right now because it's just like. And then I make it too intense because BSA made it intense, so I make it like over the top, like I want to sound a specific way, and yeah. But like I still like, you know, like during the summer I volunteered at Orchids, and that was good, like it was free, and I just like got to like communicate with the kids and stuff, and then still like I can talk to anybody about music and have a conversation about anybody. Like with anybody about music and still have a positive attitude towards it and stuff. And still, you know, I can come back to Orchids any day of the week and, you know, volunteer, so, or find a program. So it's just really like, just finding a balance within college. Because if you don't have balance, then you don't really have a college experience.
Yes.
Hi, my question is about just music. Music is a cultural life because, you know, as many of you know, I did go to the Baltimore Symphony. The audience is getting older and grayer, and there's, you know, they're really struggling financially. And yet, you know, when we hear you talking about your enthusiasm, and it doesn't necessarily all have to do with orchestra, it just has to do with music. Do you feel that this experience of being at Work Kids, even if you don't end up playing in a professional way, has enriched your life?
It's funny, I thought I was gonna get in trouble, I wanna say about 6 or 7 years ago, because I was asked to interview one of the news stations at our summer program, and I said, you know what? My kids becoming great musicians is not on the forefront. I want them to become great individuals. And I know this is a vehicle that will help them with that. And so when I heard Mayor Alsep say that about 5 years later, at like the 10-year anniversary, I said, okay, cool, okay, we're on the same page. But that's the thing, it's, even if they don't go to BSA, even if they don't go and study music in college, we know that the discipline that the students gain from learning how to practice, doing something over and over, developing that self-discipline, that's going to help them throughout life. But then we also got to throw it back on the music and say, but the music was a part of that. That helped them develop that character. So absolutely, it's much more than just we need to be great musicians in Tchaikovsky and Beethoven. And no, it's more than that. If you get there, phenomenal. If you don't, can you say yes ma'am, no sir? Can you say thank you? Can you say you're welcome? Can you say, you see what I'm saying, resume, all these different pieces. And so we've been doing a number of those different things through the program, absolutely.
And I can like kind of add on to that. So like when I was in the program, like I went through a phase where I had a very bad attitude. Like I didn't even want to play the instrument. I was just there and I was just causing havoc with like everybody. It was just bad. So then one of the teachers, she pulled me to the side and she was like, you're not going to get anywhere if you have a bad attitude. And it wasn't about the music in that conversation. It was about you as an individual person. Like who's going to want to be around you if you have a bad attitude? So, you know, that conversation changed me, and really it inspires me to this day because like I was just like nobody wanted to be around me probably. I probably didn't even want to be around myself. And that really like the program itself, like having those individuals there to pour into you and really talk to you about life and talk to you about like emerging into adulthood and like just doing things like not being so limited with your mindset, doing things being open to newness and to new ideas, which is something that the music world, you know, I'm all about positive music too. I don't like that negative stuff. And just like being open to just changing music, not being so strict with the rules and regulations because people like music, but then when they hear about classical music, they're like, that sounds like a lot of, but what if you incorporate it all? Like, what if you like allow somebody to just get up there and like sing, like do a spoken word, something that they wrote, because then they're able to like grasp that music can be so much more than just rules, pencils, regulations, instruments. It can be, you know, I don't know the word. It can just be so reflective.
Well, thank you so much. We have one question in the back here, and then I encourage you to come have some brownies and cookies and coffee and ask more questions individually. But here, I'm going to hand the mic to you.
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much to all of you. We've heard how OrCids has affected the students, the teachers, the parents, and I'm curious, does it have spillover effect among friends groups who are not participating in OrCids, or siblings, or kids who are not participating in music? Does it have spillover effect either musically or just by way of example in terms of striving for something and making it happen?
So I just have one thing, like, I had a friend, like, we were in middle school, and she didn't play an instrument, but I played clarinet, and I invited her to OrCids, and today she plays clarinet in the Morgan State Band, and I was just like, oh, like, so it, like, definitely can spill over. That's just the thing I had.
Yes, sir, thank you for your question. Absolutely. My band grows because of the student word of mouth. My band grows because they see their friends performing. And so, as we're rebuilding and trying to get more, I constantly have those students, hey, Mr. Perry, I chose choir, but I'm gonna be in band next year. Hey, Mr. Perry, I chose such and such, but I wanna do the job with the brass band and such and such. And so, the students will tell me, hey, Mr. Perry, I got so-and-so, they're gonna come with us next week to the brass band. And I'm like, I don't even have to recruit. This is awesome. The students are growing. The students want to be there, and that's the biggest thing. The students want to be there. Now, they may act like they don't want to, and this is just some encouragement for parents and everyone. I don't feel like going this time, I'm tired, I want to stay home and play the game. But then when they get there, they're having fun, up dancing, playing their instrument, having a good time, and then telling someone else next week, come join us. And so, even this year, definitely some challenges, but I'm looking at the band grow with some more people, and it's because of word of mouth. It's because of their hearing of the experience from their friends and their peers. Absolutely, there's growth from there.
Amazing. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you, panelists, for being here today. It was very insightful and inspirational to hear each and all of your answers and experiences. Thank you all for being with us today. Please stay after for more questions. Come ask them questions directly. I'm sure they'd like to talk to you. Thanks, everyone, and we hope to see you at our next concerts. We have concerts coming up in May. May 4th at our after-school sites, our recitals. We also have a couple of community performances, so please follow us on social media. We post our performances and our things coming up. And our 15th anniversary concert. I still have trouble saying that, right? So please come by. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a huge concert, so please come and join us. And thank you, and we'll see you soon. May 17th.
At the Meyerhoff.
At the Meyerhoff. Also, very important details. May 17th at the Meyerhoff, so please come by. We'll love to see you there. Thank you.